It is Star Wars month in May. Of course, I guess every month could be Star Wars month. But hey, we just got over May the 4th, the Tales of the Jedi, or no, Tales of the Empire. I almost said Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Is it any good? I tell you what, though, Mike evidently has some words for us today here on Two Geeks and a Microphone.
Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Steven and Mike.
Who talks first? You talk first. I talk first.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am your co-host, Mr. Stephen Boster, along with the one, the only, the most studious, dog yellingest. No, I'm just kidding. Mr. Mike Shakes. Mike, say hey to everybody.
Good morning to all you geeks in Geekdom land. Yes, there's a lot of dog yelling going on lately with the new dog in the house. She's driving me up a wall. She's digging up holes in the backyard. I swear she's trying to dig to China. One of these days, I'm gonna go out there and there's gonna be a little China man in our backyard.
That case your dog dug a hole all the way.
Hope I don't get canceled for that joke.
Nah, you're being silly. So, here's the dealio, so everybody. We are going to talk Star Wars because we decided Star Wars with May the 4th and happening. We thought how fun it would be to really kind of have a Star Wars month. So we kind of pushed back some of our things because we want to talk all things Star Wars this month. Woo-hoo-hoo! And so today we're talking about Tales of the Empire. And yes, it was a Freudian slip. I was like, oh, this must Tales of the Jedi season 2, sort of, kind of, not really, but
Stephen was missing Tales of the Jedi.
Right? Well, it's kind of anyway, we got some discussion points to say. So hopefully you guys all saw it and you feel free to comment along with us or discuss along with us as we get to it. But we got some other stuff to chit chat about. Are we ready for the news?
Sure. I'll jump into the geeky news here. All right, Steven, take it away.
Ooh, yay, it's all me. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, everybody. I would say thank you so much to all of our supporters on Offee. If you have not ever seen that site, here, I tell you what, let me bring it up real quick. You can go to our wonderful Offee. It's ko-fi.com/2geeks. And check us out there. You can get to it from our website.
Look at me with my nice long beard there.
Right? It's the when you had the long before you colored it. There are pictures of it colored on our Offee
there
page.
There sure is. Bright orange too.
Yes. Well, what I want to let everybody know about is finally, it took me a little bit, but I got if you scroll down, you will see.
Oh, there I am with the orange.
Yep, right there. You'll see Legacies Undone, Prophets and Storms. This is our fan fiction that we created along with Claude AI, and it was what if Qui-Gon survived. And so we did that. We posted the ebook of that back in February, but finally was able to get the audio done. So we have the audio for it, and what's really nice is when you go to it, it'll show you, here's the link, and then you can either listen to it on the player within Offee, which is pretty cool. There's a little player and listen to it, or you can go to the Google Drive link and download it and listen to it and stuff. It's about 20 minutes worth of stuff. Now, there is a little bonus at the very, very end. You will hear my voice doing the closing, saying, hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for our supporters and stuff. But the little tidbit is that's all AI. That is not actually me. So I encourage you, if you listen to it and then listen to the very end and see if you can tell a difference. It's pretty freaky.
what Terminator was Arnold Schwarzenegger? Does this is make you like? Is that like the Terminator version of Steven?
Right, maybe.
I can't remember what his call numbers were and all that stuff. It's been a while since
T800,
I watched
wasn't it?
Terminator.
Was he a model T800?
Yes, something like that. T800. So maybe this is the T800 Steven.
Dun, dun, dun. So it was actually fun to do. The hardest part was when doing the audiobook. Sometimes some words don't come across. So when you'd say where we would write it Qui-Gon, or we've seen it written as Qui-Gon, the AI voice read it as Qui-Gon. So I had to go through.
That would be great if we could get the AI voice to do George Lucas, because George Lucas notoriously says things differently on purpose. I think, Han, he'll say Han instead of Han, and I forget. There's a lot of words, so I could just see George Lucas. It's Qui-Gon. Yes, yeah, it's Qui-Gon.
Right. Sorry, I had my mic muted because I was yelling at my dogs. I'm just kidding.
We both got new dogs around the same time frame here, and we're both training and learning to live with the new dogs.
Yes. Anyway, so hey everybody, that's part of the geeky news. I want to let you guys know that for those of our supporters, I made it available for those who just want to be a one-time supporter. And when you're a one-time supporter, you actually get access to everything on our site for 30 days. And so that way I was like, well, I'll do this for the one-time supporters and stuff as well. So you have the options, everybody, one time, or if you want to do one of our subscriptions, it's like $1 a month, $2 a month, or $3 a month kind of thing. So it's pretty cool.
And that's not our only audiobook. We also have the Star Killer audiobook up there.
Yes, the Marjade.
Yes, the Marjade one.
And then we have Obsidian Points, which is a fantasy thing that it created, and it's got a little bit of music and stuff with it and all that. So,
and that's the one you did on New Year's Eve, right? Or New Year's Eve weekend, I should say.
I can't remember. I've done so many different projects since then. I'm trying to remember. So yeah,
I think that's the one you did when I was out. When you did your little tutorial on creating AI books, or yeah. So
yeah,
okay. Is that it for the geeky news then?
The geeky news.
Wow, we were the geeky news. That's cool. All right, let's move on to some geekdar.
Throw the radar, sir. What's wrong with it? I've lost the bleeps, I've lost the sweeps, and I've lost the creeps. The what? The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. That's not all he's lost.
Well, hey, I told everybody, Mike, I've got one thing. It's kind of two things, but one topic is ergodic literature. I'm getting in ergodic, ERGODIC. It is literature that you kind of interact with. It's a book that you interact with. Remember the Choose Your Own Adventure book?
I just wanted to make sure you didn't say erotic. That's all.
No. Ergodic. That's funny. That's funny. Yes. Ergodic literature.
I was like, Steven, what are you getting into over there?
Right. So, do you guys remember those Choose Your Own Adventure books?
Yes, I remember them very. Yeah. Actually, Brendan and I bought a Doctor Who Choose Your Own Adventure book just a couple of years ago, and I got her a Stranger Things Choose Your Own Adventure book, I think for Mother's Day last year, or maybe it was Christmas. I don't know. Anyway, I got it for a gift, but yes.
Yeah. So those are examples of ergodic literature. It's book form of something that's a little more interactive. So I have two ergodic literatures that I got, and there's another one on the way, but this one's called Horror Store, and it's It is a book that done like an IKEA catalog.
Oh my gosh.
But it tells a horror story. There's the
Weird.
furniture. There's even a customer service form to fill out.
Oh my gosh.
And then journey is well, evidently it's the story of these kids. There's something going on at the local. It's called Orsk, just Orsk them kind of a thing, and the store is evidently there's something going on with it, and they're finding stuff shattered and broken. And so I think it's three. I haven't started reading it. These three kids decide, well, I'll stay overnight, and they make their way through the store, and different things happen. And so it's a whole horror story. The author is Grady Hendrix, and so evidently he's written several interesting horror stories. So,
It sounds like one of the SCPs.
would
SCP.
the what?
SCP. There's this. I don't remember what it stands for. But there's this new horror genre, kind of, that's been going on for a bit, and it's just like different monsters contained in a building, some scientific building. So they each have a number. And there's actually an IKEA building.
Wait a minute. Isn't that Star Lab? Not Star Labs.
Yeah.
The other one that Superboy was contained at.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like that. But so they all like are SCP. Like the IKEA building is 3008. But they all have their own number, and it's just a accumulation of different stories that people have come up with different creatures. But an IKEA building is one of them.
Wow.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah.
And it's like an infinite, like you can't get out.
I love that it looks like IKEA instructions. That's hilarious.
It is. It looks like the catalog. The
It sure
back
does.
though, the horror-ish. There may be some horror stuff going on, and so it's interesting. But it's still kind of chapter by chapter kind of thing. So it's not quite ergodics like you're flipping through like a choose your own adventure book. But now this one is called S. And this is written by Doug Dorst, who does a lot of stuff, and it's actually produced by J.J. Abrams. Came out 10 years ago, so you break the seal.
You had me until you said J.J. Abrams.
It's all right. It's Theseus, so it's this old book, and it looks like it's designed like a library book.
Wow!
It has the old look, and it even says in here,
book for loan. Oh wow!
In the back is there's a thing. It's stamped.
Oh, even stamped it to check it out and stuff. That is so cool.
So it's on different levels. When you read it, you can read the actual book, Ship of Theseus, but it really is about the guy who wrote it, or the individual that wrote it, V.M. Straka. And so he writes it, and it's a story, but evidently it's a story within a story. And then it has, when you get in there, you have people who have written in the book. And so as they've written in the book, there's two people who are talking back and forth about what's on the page, because they're talking about this guy was a political activist. He had different views on different things, or was he more philosophical? And they just have all kinds of discussions in their own lives. But then it also comes with newspaper clippings, documents, postcards, all this kind of stuff, so you can interact with the story. Now, some people say you can. It's on a couple of different levels in the fact that you have the story within the story, then the story in the margins between the two people. Then there's also the interactions of you as the reader with the material as well. So you can read it like you just want to read the novel. Okay. Then, if I just read the novel, then I can read the interactions of everybody as they go back and forth. Now, evidently, there's different pen colors. there's different pen colors for different times when they wrote in it. So as they passed it back and forth, there are some writings that they, on the first round, they did all these notes. Then there may have been a second round of them going back and forth and putting in their notes. And then there's probably a third round. So you could read it like that. So if it's a big mystery, one of the really cool things is they, well, how shall I say this? The reviews are either really positive or really negative.
Oh, wow. J.J. Abrams. That's all I got to say.
They say it's the typical J.J. Abrams ending where you don't get all the answers, kind of a thing. And everybody's talking about Lost and stuff. But anyway, that's okay. It's still the whole journey. And then I have another one coming called Bats of the Republic. And which is another one, which is a mystery that you're trying to figure out.
Bats of the Republic.
Bats of the Republic. And what it is it takes place in the late 1800s. It starts off there. And then about this guy, Zadok. And Zadok is a naturalist, and he is traveling through the Texas Republic, but he gets into sketching out the bats and stuff. So you're looking at a sketchbook, but then he goes into the caves. And so evidently there's a whole story that unfolds. Now, Zadok is traveling because he fell in love with a girl. The dad said, no way, except unless you deliver this letter for me. And so you deliver Zadok's trying to deliver the letter, but he has to travel. It's kind of like the Lewis and Clark Trail all the way over. He's trying to find where he needs to take this. And, but on the way, he's sketching stuff, talking about bats, goes into these caves and finds stuff and everything. Well, somehow, I don't know how yet, but the book also goes 200 years in the future, where Zeke is a part of this dystopian place. This guy by the name of Zeke. Now, Zeke is the great grandson of Zadok. And in this dystopian, they're trying to find Zeke because they believe he still has that letter. And so you've got all these pictures and maps and all these different things in the book that's kind of like a journal. But then in the end is an envelope, and it's do not open, and it's that letter that you have within the book, kind of a thing. So,
oh, wow.
It's this, yeah. So it's just something different. I thought, it's just a fascinating concept. This more because I love choose your own adventure stuff. When I was a kid, I loved the Lone Wolf series.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, let's see what else is today on this list. There's other famous books and stuff like that, and there's even one that came out in 1934 called Cain's Jawbone. They say it's one of the most difficult mysteries there ever is and stuff, because all the pages, when it's printed and given to you, it's out of order. And so you have to figure out the correct order. Who are the victims and who could be the murderers and all this kind of stuff. Only 3 people it's been documented that have solved it.
Yeah, so ain't nobody got time for that.
Right? Cool. Anyway, there's my deep dar on that literature.
I have a hard enough time finding time to read the many books that I have that I need to read, and you want me to unscramble pages? Yeah, that ain't happening, dude.
Yeah, I think some people who would get into that would not be me. That's like,
I'm sure that's got its audience. It has to. And I mean, it sounds neat, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I just don't have time for that. No way.
Right.
I mean, I already have people who seek me when I'm saying, "Oh, I'm reading a book." How do you have time to read a book? Yeah, well,
right.
I don't know. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way I'm reading that. Oh well.
I need that meme where it's the one guy who's sitting there with all this map stuff, and he's like,
Yeah.
It's like Stephen trying to do ergodic literature, map it out.
Yeah, I know you ain't got time for that. There's no way.
I do. Not that kind of
all
guy.
All right. So I have a geekdar. Brennan and I actually went to the movies last night. We are both big fans of the Planet of the Apes series. And last night was the showing of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is the 4th installment of the new series of the Planet of the Apes movies, which, by the way, the new series of Planet of the Apes actually does sort of connect to the original series. It is not.
Really?
It is not a remake of the original series, minus that 2001 with Marky Mark. I hate that. Ugh, that movie sucks. Just skip that one. Don't watch that one. But that's not included in the new series anyway. But anyway, so we went and seen the fourth installment, The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. Great film. Love the intrigue of the apes and the story between the apes and the humans. A couple good callbacks to the original 1968 Planet of the Apes, including beautiful music cue at one point that was like both Brendan and I went, the beats from the old movie. I love it. You know, it was beautiful. Well done. Highly recommend it. Of course, I highly recommend all the new Planet of the Apes movies. Believe it or not, I have not seen every one of the original 4 or 5. But I do plan on watching them all. And they are all available on Disney Plus right now. So, yep, if you want to go watch them on Disney Plus, they are available there. Which is probably because they acquired, get your dirty hands off me. Yeah, get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape. One of the greatest lines in the movie. Anyway, when we walked in, they had these posters available.
Ooh.
And I love it because they even look and feel like the original look of the original series. Excellent artwork, just beautiful, fantastic. So if you can, get out and see Planet of the Apes, because I think it's a really good movie.
You have to have seen all the other ones to understand this one.
I do recommend watching the first 3 of the new series before you watch this one. I mean, you could watch it. I think you'd be a little confused. But yeah, I would recommend watching the first 3. But the first 3 are so good anyway. So it's not like I'm recommending watching bad movies to get to this one.
Gotcha. Okay.
I like everything in the new series. I think it's done very well. I like the tie-ins to the original series. And yeah, the 1968, even though Charlton Heston's character is kind of an ass, which we did our Kofi special on that one.
Yeah.
Which was a very good one. So another reason to go subscribe to our Kofi channel is to go get that Kofi only episode of the Planet of the Apes. But yeah, his character is a bit of an ass, but I love him. I love him. So and nobody's quite like Charlton Heston's characters in the new films. Woody Harrelson's in the second one.
Okay.
I think it was the second one. I can't remember, but Woody Harrelson's in one of them. He's good in it too. So yeah, highly recommend Planet of the Apes, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. All right, we ready to move on to the main event?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do this.
It's time for the main event. Star Wars. Let's talk about the Empire.
Are you sure we're talking about the Empire, or do you want to go back and talk about Jedi?
Right. Yes, I got a little confused on purpose, but that's okay.
Purpose,
right? Hey everybody, I'm excited about talking about this. I don't know if you've seen it, please let us know in the comments, because I'm sitting there watching it going, okay.
Oh, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this, because again, we do not discuss what we've watched before the podcast. It is a saying of ours. Save it for the podcast. So that way we have genuine reactions on the show. And first off, I want to say The music is fabulous. I love Kevin Kiner. As a kid, growing up with Star Wars, I could have never imagined anyone doing music for Star Wars other than the great John Williams, the maestro himself. But I have come to love Kevin Kiner's music for Star Wars, and I hope one day he gets to do a film, a whole, film, instead of just the animation, because I think his music is right in par with John Williams. Just beautiful. He does a great job. So I highly recommend the soundtrack to this. I highly recommend the soundtrack to Tales of the Jedi. I can't think of a Kevin Kiner Star Wars soundtrack I would not recommend.
Ooh, okay.
So, but it's no different than, like, for that matter, I am not the biggest fan of The Last Jedi, but I absolutely love the music. That's John Williams, of course, but Last Jedi has a fantastic soundtrack to it. It's really, really good.
Real quick, Sam, good night. Thanks for hopping in for a little bit.
Hi, Sam. Thank you for jumping in down there in the down under. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
All right. So, Tales of the Jedi. Overall thoughts. So, we are getting the stories of Morgan Elsbeth and Barriss Offee. I thought Barriss Offee was an interesting choice, considering we haven't heard anything about Barriss Offee in like 10 years. That was interesting. Morgan Elsbeth, I was happy to see. I like Morgan Elsbeth's character. I think she's a really good character. I think she's interesting. And then the fact that we got an appearance by Grievous, awesome. Look at that. We got a thumbs up. How did we get that? That's neat. Anyway, somebody gave us a thumbs up. Thank you very much. I love the fact that Grievous made an appearance. That was awesome. I like the appearance of Darth Vader. I'd like to see more of Darth Vader in these, by the way. The Tales of the Empire. He's kind of the head of the Empire. Can we get more Darth Vader stories? More on that later. Of course, Thrawn. I love Thrawn. Anytime we can get extra Thrawn, great. That was fantastic. Love that. And then Thrawn's personal bodyguard, Rook. Awesome. So I don't know if you're getting this, but I kind of lean to the Morgan Elsbeth side of the Tales of the Empire. I thought it was a little bit better than the Barriss Offee side.
Okay. So just to let everybody know, just like true Clone Wars fashion form, it was 3 stories to make an arc, kind of a thing. So 3
not Clone Wars.
Clone Wars is Rebels and all that. So they always had that 3 episode arc kind of a thing, and so they did that. And so the first 3 dealt with Morgan Elsbeth. The second 3 dealt with
Barriss Offee.
Barriss Offee, yeah,
right. Again, Barriss Offee, interesting choice because we haven't heard anything from her 10, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah, that was all. No, that was the end of Clone Wars. That was the end of
Clone Wars,
right?
Yeah, I hated her because she bombed the Jedi Temple. She was a terrorist, let's face it. And 2, she framed Ahsoka, and I hated that. And I could have swore that we seen her in a coffin somewhere in Clone Wars. I thought for sure we saw her dead corpse somewhere.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was interesting to see her training. We kind of get her training. The Empire pulls her in, and they kind of train her as a Inquisitor. I thought, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. I like where you're going. I can get into this. I could see her as an Inquisitor. It makes sense. And then they kind of trail off, and she kind of goes back to the light side. And it's like, okay, I just don't quite get the ending. I don't like it. I first of all, if she's going to get turned over the light side, I think it would have been better if she would have met up with Ahsoka and Ahsoka pulled her back to the light side. Now, I would have been on board for that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. But I just felt it was off character, the whole ending of this. I don't know. I wasn't into the Barriss Offee side of this as it went along. Starting off, I thought you start off with a bang. And then it just kind of trailed off, and I was like, I don't know if I like this.
Okay.
So Morgan and Elsbeth, thumbs up. I love the story. Barriss Offee,
Okay. All right.
somewhere in between.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I am dying
quick-
to hear your thoughts now.
So quick overview. I'm the opposite. So
Oh,
I
wow.
am Morgan Elsbeth. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's a good story. It's not bad, kind of a thing. You don't want to hear me say that it's bad, kind of a thing. I just but my interest in the character is not as much as yours. So I'll put it that way. Because I was like, she's dead, right? She's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead. Sorry, mixing Star Trek.
Well, personally, I thought Barriss Offee was dead too.
Right. That I've heard some people say that about that. So I mean, it was fine. It was interesting. It starts you off, I guess. We can talk about each episode, but it starts you off at the what happened to all the Night Sisters. That going back to I think that was a callback to a Clone Wars episode. I think too.
Yeah, it was.
So then,
and I like seeing the super battle droids too. Sorry.
Yeah. So I would say it was interesting, but I don't have that much of a depth for the characters. I'm like, well, I appreciate the backstory, but you've already killed her off. So, spoiler alert, everybody! If you haven't seen, Ahsoka, latest season of Ahsoka,
latest, the
only season. Wait,
yeah, it's the only one we've got so far. It was last summer.
Wow, that's hard to believe, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Roger.
Nice.
So then that was Roger. You're Roger. Saying that. So I would say that then when we got into the other one, Barriss Offee,
I bring up the comments. Sorry.
I was like, with Barriss, I thought, well, hey, she seems familiar, and I didn't make the connection yet that it was the whole from the. So it took me a little bit. So I'm like, oh, okay, here's somebody. I wasn't remembering the call.
Oh, I knew right off who she was. I remember because she framed Ahsoka.
Right, but I just didn't remember.
Yeah, to me, that's something you don't forget. I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about you not remembering. I'm just saying, for me personally, you don't forget somebody because Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I really enjoy Ahsoka a lot.
Sure. I would just say at the time I didn't remember. And so when I went into it, I was saying, hey, this is interesting. Okay. Characters in jail did a bad thing. Oh yeah. They're going to try. Ooh, Inquisitor. Okay. This is interesting. Where are we going with this? Oh, Darth Vader, okay, cool. And all I did was come in and sit down. I mean,
on a very unimpressive Darth Vader throne, I might add. Just come on. It just didn't have the appeal that Darth Vader's throne should have. Yeah.
And then we were Tales of the Empire, and I thought, okay, we're getting her training, how she becomes an Inquisitor. Okay, cool. And then I'm like, oh man, that her mentor, the Inquisitor, is like, whoosh, she's rough, kind of a thing, or she's really mean and no mercy, and you could see the angst in Barriss's character a little bit. Now remember, I'm not remembering who she was. And I went in going, okay, here's someone who, did some stuff they shouldn't have. Then realizing how far dark that path can really go. And then really through all that pain, begin to make it excuse me, I got hiccups, everybody. Sorry. Begin to make a change. And then I thought, okay, well, let's see where it goes. And then my brain goes to, oh, it's Tales of the Empire. She's not going to. I'm like, oh, she's a Jedi. So is this Tales of the Jedi Part 2? Now, remember, everybody.
Okay, are you sure you like this side of it? Because you kind of sound as confused as I was.
No. Then, but I accept it as it was. Okay, she's changed. She's tried to do a redemptive arc. I will say this: it happened quick. There was all this huge jump in time, and so I don't know. Who knows how long that time frame was? But you're like, that's some time. So we missed some storytelling, I think, and they expected us to make a huge time jump where she had made the change, and then only to find out, oh, okay, so she's been trying to do a redemptive arc for herself. I'm like, okay, she's trying to be giving towards others and healing others and that kind of a thing. So,
but if you go back,
I thought it was good.
If you go back to the Morgan Elsbeth side, we do a time jump too, because you start off you start off in the prequel era, because you get you get Grievous and you get the super battle droids and the battle droids, blah blah blah. Then we get more into the Empire era, and then we're actually post Empire at the end of her story, because that's right before Ahsoka shows up. So there is a slight. They're both consistent with the time.
Yeah, but
I don't know how far the time jump is, like you said, for Barriss Offees, but at least they stay consistent in their storytelling.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Because they're two different stories.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just saying the format of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any others time jumps, but I'm just saying, I'm agreeing in the aspect that you were saying, hey, it just all of a sudden she changed, or here's this arc, and you don't get the full story. And I think that shows that there was interest in her character. And I think there was for me. But remember, what I was saying a moment ago is I watched the second set first, not Elsbeth first.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So I'm going
because I kind of berated you. I was like, "What? You should have watched the first couple episodes." Anyway, sorry.
Right, and I did go back, but again, I wasn't interested in Morgan Elsbeth. I was like, okay, she's dead. She's, that was the whole point. Her character is dead. So I'm like, why go to her past if she's dead? I mean, you could say that about Tales of the Jedi too.
Yeah, but see, you're just because the character's dead doesn't mean that there aren't interesting stories leading up to what has happened.
Oh, in general, you are absolutely right.
I mean,
just for her character, I was just like, okay.
Would you complain if we got more Qui-Gon stories? He's dead.
You missed my point. What I was saying was in general, they're fine. It's just specifically her character I really didn't have any interest in.
All right, fair enough.
And so when we were going back, I was like, okay, I'll skip those and I'll watch this other one. And then I went back and watched the other one because you were like, you got to watch the other one. There's the first episode. You got an incredible cameo. That's true.
Well, personally, I was thrilled that Rook showed up. I love it when he shows up. That's a favorite character of mine, and I like Palion showing up too, who is Thrawn's right hand man. That's so cool. Callbacks to the heir of the Empire, Timothy Zahn. Anything that calls back to Rook is also a callback to heir of the Empire. So, heck, just make heir of the Empire.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to say what's the word I'm trying to say, your rating for this, what would it be? And I'm assuming you split it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to split it. Because all right, like I said, I enjoyed the Morgan Elsbeth side of it. I thought it was better, in my opinion. To me, I like the Morgan Elsbeth character. I think she's pretty intriguing. Mm-hmm. I think she's a good bad guy. I love that she stuck to being a bad guy and didn't change. She stayed a bad guy. We didn't have her trailing off at the end. Oh, well, now I'm good again. And, but no, she stayed bad. That's I want my Steven, I want my bad to be bad. I want my good to be good. And she stayed bad. Barriss Offee doesn't know who the hell she is. So, yeah. So in that sense, on a 1 to 10, what are we using for a scale in this? For the Morgan Elsbeth side, I'm going to give it rooks.
Right on.
I love rooks. So I would actually give this a 7.5 rooks. Yeah, we're going to cut rook in half. For the Morgan Elsbeth side of it.
Okay.
Barriss Offee, I felt started off really good. Liked where they were going with it. Loved the fact that you took a Jedi who essentially was a terrorist, who essentially not essentially, she did frame Ahsoka and hated her for that. And you're going to train her as an Inquisitor. Great. I thought that was fantastic. I'm like, yes, she's a perfect person to be an Inquisitor. Love it. And then I felt it started going downhill as she becomes an Inquisitor. Oh, and yeah, who's Lynn? I had a Walking Dead moment with this Lynn character. I felt like Abraham from Walking Dead. If you all watch Walking Dead, you know what I'm talking about when Abraham goes, "Who's Deanna?" Well, I felt like, "Who's Lynn?" They made it sound like everyone should know this Lynn character. Who the hell is she? I've never heard of this Lynn character. I'm a pretty avid Star Wars fan. Okay. It lost me on that too. At least bring in somebody we know, yeah, whatever. Anyway. So, and then you got this whole thing where she's like being real loving to the people they're going and killing and all this stuff. And I'm like, that kind of makes you worse than the Inquisitor, than the hardcore Inquisitor. Because at least she does what she's supposed to do. You go in and you make people think that you're going to go easy on them. And then she kills them, then the other one kills them. It's like, I don't know. I don't think that makes her any better of a character. And we all know what's going to happen to these people when they find them. They're going to kill them, so I don't know. I felt that it was not consistent with her character.
I saw that as the dichotomy between her and the other one, where she was going in saying, "Hey, just give us the information and we'll be on our way," kind of a thing. Because they were there primarily to, I think
they were there to kill Jedi.
Right. And that's all part of her arc and her disdain for the Jedi, but she saw the other people as innocents who just happened to be there, where the other one used that to her evilness. I thought it was trying to show the dichotomy between the two, where one was just, "Hey, I have a role to do. That's what I need to do. These are innocents. I just need the information so I can move on."
Okay. So, I get what you're saying. However, again, I'm going to go back to the Clone Wars. This is Barriss Offee, the terrorist who killed Jedi by setting a bomb in the Jedi Temple. And she had no remorse for killing Jedi whatsoever. So to me, this is not consistent with her character. I don't care for it. I don't like where it went. And I have to give it, let's see, what do we use for on the Barriss Offee side? I'm trying to think of what was really relevant in I'll just use lightsabers just to, you know what, I'll use the Inquisitor twirly lightsaber, which I hate, but that is the one thing that annoys me about Inquisitors, their twirly lightsaber. I don't like it, but we'll use the twirly lightsaber since it is the Inquisitor story. I'll give her a 4. I just, if it would have stayed consistent and she would have stayed a baddie all the way through it to the end, I probably would have went higher. Or if we would have had Ahsoka encounter her and pull her back to the light side, that would have that would have shot this up. But then again, you would have had Ahsoka in it, and Ahsoka is going to bring just about anything up. So, especially if it was Ashley Eckstein Ahsoka.
Interesting.
So 7.5 for one side, 4 for the other. How's your score? What's your
7? It's 7 for both.
Really?
It's 7 for both. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm kind of surprised you go 7 on the Morgan Elsbeth side. I figured.
Well, it wasn't a bad story. It's just it was fine. I just hadn't as interest in it as as the other character and stuff, because I was like, well, I've already said why, but
it's so funny how we're completely opposite on this. That's wild.
See, and I have no issues with Barriss being inconsistent or consistent. I do see her as being consistent with Jedi as far as Jedi are concerned, but I thought I saw a separation within her about others who are not Jedi. And that's where I think the other Inquisitor, she was just like, I don't care who you are, you're dead, kind of a thing. And so where I think that created it within her a sense of, wait a minute, why are you killing these people? There's no reason to. And then when she was,
well, that's because she's part of the Empire, and the Empire don't care.
Yeah, but I just
which was just again, that's consistent.
Yeah. Okay.
I look. I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Right.
Which is fine. Actually, I think it's neat that we have really such differing opinions on this. That's cool. That's cool. Because we're right on track. We both agree 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing. See, we can dislike different things and still get along.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So, what was your favorite part in these? Like, your most favorite aspect of them all, or your top?
Well, that's going to be funny because my favorite parts are General Grievous and Rook.
Okay.
Actually, those are my favorite parts. It's just seeing General Grievous again. I like General Grievous. He's a good character, and I don't think we got enough stories with Grievous. Again, Tales of the Empire. I think you could do. I mean, technically, Grievous wasn't the Empire, but who cares? Hey, he's close enough to the Empire, in my opinion. He was I always get the Separatist and Separatist, and I don't know. I always get those confused in the prequels, but he was the bad guys in the prequels, so I'd say that puts him on the Empire side.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, and Rook again. I would take a whole Rook story of him going on a assassination mission from Thrawn. I think that would be awesome. We have Thrawn come in at the beginning. Disney, if you're listening, Dave Filoni, if you're listening. So we have Thrawn come in the beginning, and he's got a particular Jedi that he wants dead, and if Thrawn wants you dead, you are really, really important, or a real threat to him. Let's put it that way, because Thrawn will first use you in any way he can and get everything he possibly can get out of you, and then he will kill you afterward, or have you killed, because he's not really going to do it himself. But if he sends his assassin after you, you're somebody who's a danger to him. So I think that would be interesting. It would be an intriguing story. Thrawn has somebody in mind, and he sends Rook after him. And we have an entire story around Rook going to assassinate somebody. There you go. There's a Tales of the Empire story for you.
Or it's another fan fiction that Mike is going to be writing.
Ooh.
Just saying.
We might have to go there. That might be fun. Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Another Tales of the Empire idea I have it would actually be a callback to a book, Lords of the Sith, with the Emperor and Darth Vader. It's the only story I know that the two of them go on an adventure together. We're going on an adventure.
Yeah, you've talked about that before. You've talked about that book several times in several episodes.
I like that book. It's a very good book. I recommend that. But that would be cool if we got a Tales of the Jedi with the Emperor and Vader just going out and destroying crap. That would. I'm all in for that one too.
There's another one. There's another short story. There you go.
So these are my Tales of the Empire wish list.
There you go. There you go. So we're gonna do our own. We didn't like these, so we're gonna make our own. We're gonna put our money where our mouth is.
There you go.
Time where our mouth is. We're like, okay, yeah, I'll do one.
Yeah, now let me ask you this: if you put Tales of the Empire up against Tales of the Jedi, which one wins out of these?
Tales of the Jedi, because it told the stories, some backstories of major characters, if that makes sense, and that was interesting because it's Jedi too. We don't, we just can't get enough of Jedi lore, kind of a thing, and stuff. So everybody, what he's laughing at, he's not laughing at me, you guys. He's laughing at Roger. Roger posted.
Roger. We're up. See the Empire. The ruthless sons of. Sorry.
Right.
I couldn't come up with anything else off the top of my head.
That's all right. That's all right.
Sorry. I agree with you. I put Tales of the Jedi as a better, much more betterer.
Cheers, everybody.
My iced coffee is pretty good today. Alcohol free, by the way.
I was wondering. I'm just kidding.
No alcohol this morning. But yeah, I considering we had Qui-Gon Jinn in that one, and we had Qui-Gon Jinn. Oh my god. And oh gosh. Count Dooku. I agree. They're bigger characters, more interesting, and overall, I think better stories. I think they did better on both of them. Mm-hmm. Even though I did like the Morgan Elsbeth stuff, and I liked Barriss in the beginning. I thought they were decent, not bad. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right. They're bigger characters. Like I said, I would have went Darth Vader, General Grievous,
or an Inquisitor. More about some of the Inquisitors, even.
We did this was half Inquisitor. So
well, that's true too.
The Inquisitors aren't, to me, they're just not that interesting. I mean, meh.
But what you're saying,
Vader, man, Vader.
Okay, who would be other main characters that you would like to see from an Empire standpoint that you think would be worthy of a Tales of the Empire series?
Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh, okay.
I like Grand Moff Tarkin. I mean, besides that, Steven Stanton would voice him, so it's a win-win right there.
Right on.
I mean, Steven Stanton does an amazing Grand Moff Tarkin. I love his performances as Tarkin. He's just fantastic. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. I will say, as we watch the Bad Batch, especially that last episode of Tarkin coming into, the whole area and then saying, "Oh, scrub it all," and okay, now move everything over to Project Stardust, kind of a thing. It's like, oh,
well, yeah, I know what you're saying there, but I think if we got a Tarkin centric story, there's a good Tarkin novel out there too. Mm-hmm. And Steven Stanton actually uses that novel to get some of his inspiration for his character. When he's
doing the voice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So another thing I think would be cool if we saw some adventures of the 501st after Order 66. If we seen Vader's fist on specific assignments from Vader, that'd be pretty cool. I'd enjoy that. We get more clones. Now I gotta admit, seeing the clones on the bad side kind of sometimes get me. That scene in Tales of the Empire when Barriss is still imprisoned, and she's wanting to know what's going on. When the Jedi temple is attacked, and we get the two clones come up to her, and she's like, "What's going on?" And they go, "Just be glad you're not a Jedi anymore." It just kind of it gets me, because it's like, oh man, just like it was almost like, well, yesterday you were on the other side. And it's still kind of that jarring thing. Oh man, our clones they're bad. They're bad, and of course we learned through Bad Batch that not all the clones were affected by Order 66, which I think was a good thing. I like that. I like that because that way you still get this whole well, our clones aren't all bad. Some of our clones are still the good guys that we want to remember. You know what I mean? But when I see those two, and that was a moment on the Barriss Offee side that kind of got me. I was like, dang, that just kind of hurts. It just hits me right here. Right. Oh, dang. Yeah, they really are bad. It sucks.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. All right. Who else? Anyone else you'd want to see?
I'm trying to think. 501st, more Vader. Palpatine would be great. See, I want to say Boba Fett, but if we say Boba Fett, that's more Tales. That would be Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Ooh, a bounty hunter episode.
If we did Tales of the Bounty Hunter, I want Boba Fett. I want Jango Fett. I want Cad Bane. Oh, there's so many I could go down the line with. I just want them all. I want them all.
Right.
Just give me fun adventures, of the bounty hunters going on bounties. Yeah. So many good things. Back in the day, when Star Wars books were done by Bantam Books, there was a Tales of the Bounty Hunters book. There was a Tales of the Cantina book. So you kind of got little one-off stories with some of the aliens and stuff throughout the Cantina. I think there was a Tales of the Empire book. I have to look at my books and make sure, but I thought there was a Tales of the Empire book also. Granted, I have the books, but I just haven't read them. I'm terrible.
Right. No, we all are like that. We have books we haven't read.
Oh gosh, I have so many Star Wars books that I haven't made it through that. And it's not because they're bad or anything. I buy them and then then I get squirrels and
right. Oh yeah. Now there's this. Oh, now there's this. Oh, now there's this. Yes.
But then there's those books that really captured me and said, oh gosh, I got to read all the way through. So,
yeah.
I don't like you and he don't like you either.
Cantina.
Yeah. Yes. Cantina, Tales from the Cantina, that could be fun too. Get stories of Greedo. I'd even take stories of Hammerhead, the Ithorian, whatever you want to call him. Walrus Man. I'm giving it the Kenner action figure names, not their actual names.
Oh gosh.
Guess what? Kenner named them before George Lucas did, so
right.
Hammerhead, Walrus Man, or as Luke Scott or as Mark Hamill used to say, we called him Buttface. Does he kind of look like he had a butt on his face? Butt face.
Oh gosh, that's
We had
funny.
dipping sauce for Mon Calamari.
Excuse me.
So yeah,
Oh,
there's a
goodness.
lot of interesting things they could do with these tales of stories. I would like if they're gonna go down the route like I was saying, you know, if you're doing more Darth Vader, 501st, the Emperor, I kind of like to see it more than just once a year. You know, get a couple of them a year or something like that, instead of just waiting this whole year to get these little tiny episodes. And I do want to see more Tales of the Jedi. I think that would be good. So yeah,
Cool. All right. Cool.
maybe an
Beans. I was
Obi-Wan
curious.
adventure.
Yeah. Like on
Come
his
on.
own. Another one
Obi-Wan's
on
your
his own.
favorite.
Yeah, agreed. But he's dead. It's a callback, everybody. Just having fun.
So is Qui-Gon.
Right. That's right. They're dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead. All right, everybody. Well, we probably need to wrap up because we're at the 1 hour mark and stuff. So if you've made it this far, thanks for checking us out. If you want to check out our website, it is www.2geeksmike.com, www.2geeksmike.com, where you can go all things in the geekdom. So one of the things that we have is a link to our Ko-fi page that we referenced earlier. We're adding more stuff and stories, so we're having a good time with that. And then also, if you want to go to our merch page, you can get to us from our website or go to www.2geeksmikemerch.com, and that's a straight link where we got some fun t-shirts and stuff. If you want to reach out to us, best way to do it is by email, show@2geeksmike.com. And I'm trying to think, there's one other thing that I want to chit chat about, and I can't remember what it is.
Well, you keep thinking about that, and while you're thinking about that, I'll talk about our Facebook and our YouTube. So if you made it this far, please make sure and go and like and subscribe to us on both Facebook and YouTube. Make sure and give the little bell a tickle, ding the dong, and all that good stuff. So that way you subscribe and you get notifications to every time we go live. Speaking of going live, we go live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You do the math for the rest, because I don't like math. I did a lot better this week than last week. Last week I was totally out of my vibe.
It's all
I think
good,
that's because we were squirreling with Aaron, and then my brain was all scrambled and
trying to keep up with him, right? Yeah, with his intellect, man. Sometimes I'm like, whew. Okay.
Oh, I love having Aaron on. He's so much fun. He's so much fun. We should probably give a reminder that next week we are taking the week off.
Yep,
I am doing my first camping trip of 2024. Shanks camping trip 2024 is happening next weekend, so I'm looking forward to that and a little time off. And then we come back for our last Star Wars May the 4th special on Orthodox Star Wars Day. And we are going to be
talking. May the 4th be with you.
May the 25th be with you. Anyway, yeah, a lot of there's such a division in the Star Wars fandom. Imagine that division in the Star Wars fandom. That's kind of funny to say to begin with. Or, there's a division over what the true Star Wars Day. You know what? There is no true Star Wars Day. First of all, every day is Star Wars Day. Just celebrate Star Wars. Enjoy it whatever day you want. If it happens to be May the 4th, well, have fun, and May the 4th be with you. If it happens to be May 25th, the release of the original Star Wars A New Hope, well, great. That's Orthodox Star Wars Day as far as I'm concerned. So, but just enjoy Star Wars. Pick out something you like and watch it or read it or whatever, you know. Just enjoy Star Wars.
That's right. That's right, by golly. That's right.
But our Orthodox Star Wars Day is going to be the Ronin. We're going to discuss the Ronin, the comic book.
Ronin. Get that next Jedi going.
Oh, I like that. That's good. Wait a minute. Is he a Jedi or a Sith, though?
Or yeah, correct.
And then we got some fun things planned for June. So,
Yep.
all right.
Yay!
That's all
right,
I got,
everybody.
Steven.
Cool beans. All right, that's all I got. So I'll let you do your sign off. Thank you, everybody.
All right. So with that said, over and out, and may the force be with you always. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
may the force be with you.